Hey, bro, thanks for coming on, man.
Welcome. Thanks for
Yeah,
inviting.
yeah. I like your picture, your background.
Yeah, I like it too. I would like to be there.
Whereabouts is that?
Where I'm at? Oh,
The web is yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I just bought it. Maybe I have to look it up.
Yeah. So, so how you, how you been dealing with this pandemic and all this kind of stuff? Has it changed your lifestyle or just the same?
Not too bad. A little bit. Like in the beginning, they closed all cracks,
Mm,
so I had to train like at home a lot, and I sneaked into stadiums where nobody was there and stuff like that. But
yeah,
now it's all
yeah.
right.
What's it like being eight-time national champ? What's that feeling?
Feels good. Feels good. Yeah, it's always tough. Track and field and professional sports is not easy. You have to put a lot of effort in. But if everything is working and you're winning the good races, the nice races,
Mm,
the national races, it's always an honor. It's always cool. Not only for me, also for my team because I have a lot of stuff around me with therapists, with my girlfriend who's supporting me. So it's always
mm.
always cool.
Yeah, and I watched a few of your videos on your channel. Did you say it was your neighbor that got you into track and field?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it was my neighbor when I was around like 7. So he was just watching track and field in Stuttgart because there was the World Championships 1993, and he just came up to me and yeah, asked me, "You want to do track and field?" And I was like, "All right," as a kid, just said okay,
Yeah.
and yeah, then I started it.
Mm. So was you playing any other sports at the time, like basketball, football? Was you playing anything else?
I was playing football, I think 2 or 3 years.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I felt more comfortable in track and field. I had a very nice group and felt like I have more potential in track and field. So then I just did it. But in the beginning, it was more like for fun. You
Yeah.
know, when I was 17, I focused more on pushing, and training more, and I also switched my club. So then I have a professional coach around me, and yeah, then everything started. So pretty late.
Yeah. Yeah. Was you watching the football yesterday? England, Germany?
Yes, yes. But
Yeah.
I was actually not surprised because they didn't play well like the last, I don't know, like 5 years maybe.
Yeah.
So
Muller should have scored, to be honest.
yeah, so
Yeah.
so England was pretty good. So it was in the beginning was little even, but then at the end, yeah, they really showed their class. And
Mm.
and in general, I'm a big fan of Sterling, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Good player, man. So, what was it like being training with the world record holder, Aries Merritt?
That was awesome. So I was training with him from 2013 to 2018. Um, it was actually, I don't know, very surprisingly. I just heard about, there's a new track and field center in Phoenix, Arizona, and they're
Mm,
looking for athletes who train there, and you can if you want. And I just like the year before, I met Andreas, his coach, and he's half German, half American, so we can talk
mm,
in German too.
mm,
And then I was just thinking about, yeah, let's do training camp there, maybe like 3 4 weeks to check it out, to just train with him. But uh, then I found out that they're also looking for full-time athletes to just live there and train like around like 6 7 months before the season starts. And I was like, wow, this is a big opportunity. And I just asked
mm,
them and said, yeah, sure, if you want, you can come to Phoenix, move to Phoenix. And yeah, I did it and learned a lot. Learned about like the training concepts, the hurdle rhythm, hurdle
mm,
technique, sprinting, also mentality, personality. It's like he's an awesome athlete, but also an awesome
mm,
person. So was
sure.
very inspirational for me.
Hmm. And in 2009, talk to me about the was it world champs, your home champs in Berlin? The world's.
Yeah, that was crazy because it was my first international year. So I started with a very good time and my first meet with 13:48. So I qualified for the World Championships, and it was amazing because all my friends were there in the stadium, and the crowd was fantastic when they say your name, everybody is going crazy, and you're standing there as a 23-year-old and like, wow, this is awesome. So I think it was in general a big motivation for the next years, and starting with a home crowd on the international stage was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Uh, um. So was it a bit of a disappointment because you was in front of your fans, sort of thing, or was it just a learning curve as such?
So with my performance, I wasn't so happy. So I was just in the heats. I was definitely disappointed, but in general, I'm a very positive thinking person. So I learned my lesson, and the year by year, you just try more. And it's for me, track and field is always a challenge to stay healthy because hurdling is very very tough for the body. And I always had my issues, and often I was starting actually in Berlin too, and I didn't feel so well, but I was still pushing out and give everything I had. And yeah, you learn year by year, and you also learn to be mentally strong, and that was working. And like closely every year, I qualified for the international stage, and I was happy with that. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And with your, I see on your YouTube, with your full recoveries and workouts, is that something which you picked up from your coach, or was that something you was doing for that particular routines?
Um, So most of the things I show on YouTube is definitely from Altis, from workouts with Aries Merit.
Mm,
But also something I learned from the years, and I felt that's effective. Because yeah, as an athlete, you always you cannot train like the whole day. You need to do the effective stuff. And recovery, I think recovery is very underrated. Many athletes just pushing out like crazy until they almost they're injured and
mm,
they feel well. And I just want to show on YouTube that as a track athlete, you also need to take your time to rest. And resting is not just like laying
mm,
in bed or watching Netflix. It's you
mm.
have to be active. And yeah, I hope with these videos I can help athletes around the world to recover. Yeah.
Yeah, and with your band stretching, it looks very relaxing, but I bet it's tougher than what people think.
Yeah, that's something I learned from Altus. Because so for me, when I like had a different coach, it was very hard for me because there's so many new exercises. My body was reacting very very hard, so I had a lot of like muscle problems in the beginning. But that's normal, new coaches are always had this kind of like problems, and you have to adjust a little bit. So I learned a lot about like fascia stretching, the Eldora stretching I showed on YouTube, and also the band stretching, and that was working a lot for me. So I did this every day after training
Mm,
because I felt so exhausted, and I was like, man, I need to do something. And that was working very well. And then the cool thing was that even when I switched coaches, and the next season was already very good for me. I was running actually my winded PR, so it was
mhm.
13:20, but with too much wind at the German Championships. But that showed that the training was really working. I did in America, and also everything around it with recovery, with learning new things, and that was cool.
Mm. And then going on to 2012 in Helsinki, was you more pleased with your performance, even though you kind of just missed out on the final, came 10th, didn't you? Yeah,
Yeah, so I think I was running 13:52.
yeah,
So
52.
Helsinki was not a bad race. I was pretty close. I'm not sure what time I needed to make the final. I think maybe it was
30, 48.
yeah, yeah. So my goal was always to make the final, especially on European champs. I never made it actually. I was one time. I had 2014 in Zurich.
14.
I was
Yeah,
very close.
yeah.
I was actually running the same time as the guy who was
Arthur.
number 8.
Yeah.
So European champs was always a little bit of disappointment, but because I always had or was running the times before who you can make the final, but never made it. But yeah, that's sports. You always you give everything you had, and sometimes you're very happy with your performance. Sometimes you're not, and like I cannot complain too much because I knew that during the season, preseason, I always gave everything I had. So it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And how tough is it like competing in like a major competition when you know the Olympics is coming up as well that year?
That's always actually, the Olympics are the Olympics, but in general, it's always tough. So for me, if there are European Championships, if there are Olympics, if there are World Championships, even if it's just a big international competition, my mood doesn't change too much. So I'm not get like extremely excited when I know, okay, this is the Olympic year. Because for me, it's always I wanna race fast in every race. So I don't get not more under pressure when I know the like Olympics are coming or like big races. I'm even, I'm in general, I'm always nervous before races. I
Mm,
know it's just in me, and it's also a good thing because you create a lot of adrenaline for the race. And I'm even nervous if I have just regional races. So there's not a big difference for me.
mm. And I was just gonna highlight, even your country, you got a decent team. Obviously, you got Max Herb, Roller, Christina on the shot put, Mahambo the long jump. So how's you think German athletics is doing all right at the moment? It's getting
Uh,
there. Could be better, but you know.
yeah, it's always could be better. The support in Germany is like I would say average. Some athletes get good support, some athletes don't get supported. We have definitely good events, especially like javelin throw or shot put,
Yeah, sure.
and long jump, women with
Ma-
Malaika Mahambo. But there are also events who are like not so good at the moment. I think there are enough talents, but I feel like many talents they don't go to this stage. They stop before they even get to their best level because they just prefer to study or to have a job. That also makes sense. So I would like
mm,
that track and field in Germany gets more support. So we have more athletes who are competing on the national stage. And I do the sport since like 15 years maybe, and
mm,
I feel like in the beginning there were more athletes on a good level, and now it's getting a little bit lower. And I hope it's getting better the next years.
mm. And with your YouTube videos and stuff, I was gonna ask, do you believe is there a thing as overtraining? And what would you say that is in a nutshell?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Um, I even think like a lot of athletes overtrain. I don't feel like in preseason, you can train very hard, and you can be exhausted. And but during the season, often athletes make these problems or make these issues that they competing, and then during the week they even want to train hard and I want to go to the next competition and be fast. But sometimes it's more effective to recover, to shut the nervous system down, and to rest, and then going very fresh into the next competition. That's what I learned in America. Like even Aries and I, we never trained a lot during competitions because every competition is pretty tough. Not only for the body, also for the nervous system, because you have to fire very hard. Like running, doesn't matter which event you do. It's also mentally and for the nervous system very hard. So I feel like often athletes they overtrain during the season. So they
Mm,
train too hard. They do too much tempo runs. They do too much lifting, instead of doing like short and explosive workouts. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, makes sense. So just speak to me about London 2012.
That was amazing. Even I just made the heats. I didn't make the semifinal. I was very sad because this was the most amazing crowd I've ever been. So there was like I think it was in the morning at 10, and I was walking into the stadium, have my race, and I was like 80,000 people going completely crazy. And yeah, London, in general, Great Britain is my favorite country to compete. They love track so much,
Mm-hmm.
and
We do.
I will never forget this feeling. Like I felt like a soccer player, or as a football player. You know, American is a
Yeah.
soccer football player, because yeah, normally, you know, in track and field stadiums, they're like, when you have good competition, probably like 20,000 people, or sometimes 10,000. Sometimes there's nobody, very often actually. But if they're 80,000 and they go crazy, and they're looking up to you, and they really, yeah, they're really loud. So it was amazing, and very inspirational for me. I was often thinking about that race and that crowd, and it's motivational for the next years for sure.
Mm. And you was for you was in the first seat, wasn't you? Of
I
or
was
second?
actually, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I was in the first or second. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking up. It says you're in the first seat. So what is that like? Would you prefer to like just get it out of the way, or if you had a choice, would you go in like the fifth or sixth to see how people are doing? Like, if you had the choice, what do you think?
Mm, actually, when you, even if you're like in heat 5, you don't look too much on the other races. You're so focused on what you're doing. You're in the like you in your warm up, and sometimes I look at the races, but I don't get like excited, or like, oh, this guy was fast, or this guy
Yeah,
was slow. I just focus on myself, on my track, and what I have to do, and get some yeah, technical stuff in the competition, in the warm up. So I'm ready for my race. So I'm not getting excited.
yeah,
Oh, I got only excited when I watch races on TV. Like,
yeah.
I always get
True.
this heartbeat, and I just like watching, you know, especially 100, 200 hurdles. I'm so excited every race I watch.
Yeah. So when I talking to like previous 400-meter runners and 400 hurdlers, they always talk about some athletes play for the lane draw. But do you think in a flat hurdles race, lane draws really matter? Because in your heat, you had Shabenkov, who
Hmm.
won the race from lane 9. So
Yeah.
do lane draws matter in 110-meter hurdles?
Yes and no. So it's always good when you're in the middle, for sure. Um, but yeah, there are many examples for people like sprinters on the 100 or on the hurdles. They just win on lane 1 or 9.
Mm,
So I prefer to run on the inside, and I have people next to me, because I always, you know, I feel them, and then I get faster and faster. But there are also athletes who get a little bit like tight and do often mistakes when they have too much pressure. So for me, I always like to run on the inside, but it doesn't matter that I can run a PR on the outside. So I had one championships, was 2011, I think. Yeah, when I was running on lane 8, and I won. So the advantage, if you're on the outside, on the inside, you don't see anybody, so you're just in your race. You don't get distracted from anybody, so it can be advantage too.
mm. And would you advise like a younger hurdler that's coming through that even when they're doing the training stuff that they can practice in different lanes because you can't guarantee what lane you're gonna get, sort of thing.
Mm, as a When a young athlete would ask me, I would say just don't care which lane you are.
Yeah, just
all
run
in,
your race. Yeah.
yeah, 100-meter hurdles, 110-meter hurdles. The lanes are all the same. Just focus on your race, focus on your technique, and push out, and don't look left and right. It was tough
Mm,
for me in the beginning too. I remember in 2009, in my first year, I was racing international. It was in London. Yeah, and I was running next to Darren Robles, the
oh,
former
oh,
world record holder. And I was
legend, man.
like, oh man, and I was young, and didn't have any experience, and I had a bad race. I think I was just like distracted from him and too nervous, and
Mm,
how he's running so fast, and I was running like 14 something.
Oh,
But
bloody hell.
then the next race got better and better, and then probably after 1 year or 2 years, you don't care who's running next to you because you're getting a little bit used to. You're still excited, but you're not getting distracted from fast hurdlers. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about that what happened in Zurich when you got the same time as Petter and and Arta. You didn't
Yeah,
make it.
that was even afterwards. I'm still disappointed about that because they had 9 lanes,
Yeah,
so I could be in there because I have the same time.
man.
And I don't understand why they decided like that because there was no difference in our times. So
Yeah,
we all had the same time, and I felt like they had a little bit mercy, and they said, you can run. We have 9 lanes, but I don't know what they did.
yeah,
Why they like there? I think there is no real reason why they decided. Okay, this guy is not in the race and this guy is in the race. They just decided for
mm,
their own decision. And but yeah, like I said in the beginning, it is what it is. It's sports, and sometimes you have nice races and you're like happy with your result, and sometimes you're disappointed, and sometimes you even have an awesome race, but you didn't get what you want, and was the
yeah,
final in Zurich. And yeah, I cannot complain. I was running in the semi-final 13:39. I think this was the fastest time you need for the final, like
yeah,
since ever. So yeah, it was a little bit unlucky, but yeah, like I said, that's sports. When you're starting doing like professional sports, you have to know there are a lot of disappointments, and there are probably more disappointments and more bad races than good races, and you have to be mentally strong. And like I said, overall, I'm very happy with my career, even when there are like moments where I was definitely disappointed. But for me, I get very fast in a good mood again because I'm like a positive thinking guy.
yeah. I see I see even on your YouTube. You said they said it was 1/1000th of a second or something like that. Something
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. Like you cannot see this difference in on like with the eyes on the picture. It's just not possible. So I was like, what? So afterwards, when I heard about it, I was like, what the fuck are they thinking? What is that? That doesn't make any sense. But I cannot change the time.
Uh, uh, and you know what is was funny because in the final, what you ran 13:39 was faster than both of them in the final. It's-
Yeah, yeah. That's what I thought too. If I probably
yeah,
made the final, I could have been like
yeah,
maybe number 5 in Europe or
yeah. So watching that, was you a bit? Did that make you even more angry? The fact that they didn't do well.
yeah. Like I think I was writing it down on YouTube. Probably the most disappointing race
Yeah,
in my life
yeah,
because I was just in a good shape. I was really ready to race fast, and then like a decision of somebody who I don't know who doesn't like sports probably or doesn't like athletes just decided that. So yeah, that was tough. And I remember the track was so good in Zurich, so probably it was even possible for me if I would make the final to even run faster.
yeah,
Because 2014 was an excellent year. I was in excellent shape. I remember that. I felt very powerful this year.
yeah. So yeah, like you just said, you said most painful race, and that was that mentally because you didn't quite make it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, it was mentally because I didn't understand at this moment why I'm not in the final, and then afterwards it was like it's like a joke. It's actually like a joke, and yeah, they never told me why, so they just said, okay, this is the decision, and then I heard about this 1,000, and I was like, okay, you cannot see that. But yeah,
yeah,
it's same like in football. Sometimes there's a decision you don't understand, and then you lose the game, and probably sometimes it's same in track and field.
so how dangerous is the hurdles? Because I watching London 2012, and obviously we saw a Lu Zhang when he tore his Achilles, and so yeah, how bad can it get like in the hurdles? How painful the injuries when you collide with a hurdle?
Yeah. So if you hit a hurdle very badly, you can definitely be injured. But it's also I think the problem in the hurdles for the body is that you're landing in a top speed, in a very fast speed on one foot. So you have to have a lot of pressure on your ankle, on your knee, on your hip, on your like left or right. It depends which lead leg you have, and it's just it's very tough. You need to be very very strong, and you also need like awesome therapists around you. Good chiropractor, good muscle therapist, physiotherapist, and like it doesn't matter how strong you are, the hurdles will always challenge you. It's actually, I think it's one of the toughest event in track and field, probably together with like triple jump, because this jump in the middle is very tough too. And yeah, because it's so unbalanced, you have to land on one foot. And like every time, and you cannot just say in training, okay, today I do the other leg, because you can only run with one leg. You have only one lead leg and one trail leg. And yeah, over the years, it's definitely a challenge, I think, for every hurdler to stay healthy. And but yeah, the therapy got much better and better year by year. And I think in the early years, maybe in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the hurdler probably run until they're like 28, 29, 30. And now you can even run if you're older, because the stuff around you, the doctors and the chiropractors, they are just on an amazing level, and then your hips can hold more pressure and can running longer for sure.
And then 2013, the European indoors. So do you agree with indoors that there's actually no room for mistakes? Obviously, it's only 60 meters, so if you kind of clip one hurdle, it's hard to win a race, sort of thing. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, like indoor 60-meter hurdles and 110-meter hurdles, it's like two different events, because on 60 hurdles it's just pushing out and hit the first two hurdles like good, or you don't hit the hurdles, you have just a good rhythm, and then you mostly win the race. But in 110-meter hurdles, it's very tough. So 110-meter hurdles are like running probably 180 meters. So the last 3-4 hurdles, they're very very tough, and many hurdlers get very very tired, and they get slower and slower, and then the athletes who have a very good end of the race, they often win. And on the 60 hurdles, it's just like accelerate, get the first 3 hurdles pretty good and have a good rhythm, and then you win. So yeah, it's definitely, so for me as a hurdler, it feels like the 60-meter hurdles and 110-meter hurdles are two different events for sure.
So in 2015, the world champs, and you came 11th, got your personal best. Was this your biggest achievement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually such an interesting season, because I didn't have a good preseason. I had so many injury problems, and I did a lot of like light speed work on the grass, because I wasn't able to run on the track, because I don't know, my back was hurting and my hip was hurting. I was just like, I even like in the middle of the season, I thought about to stop and just to prepare the next season. But then I had good therapy, and I tried it again, and then finally I was healthy, like probably five weeks before the World Champs, and then I even qualified last minute at the German Championships, and so I felt fresh, but I didn't feel so extremely powerful, because it didn't train so much. And then I was even more surprised that I was running so cool. And I think actually, even if it was my best achievement and probably my best race of my life, I felt like if I had a better preseason, even more was possible. Probably the final was possible too. I was very close. I think you needed 13:26 or 28 for the final. So it was cool on the one side, because I'm still, I think, thinking about it with a lot of positive thoughts, a lot of fun on this race. But I also think if I had a better preparation, then even more was possible. But yeah, the stadium was amazing, and the crowd was good, and yeah, it
Yeah.
was fun. And you know, when you're 11th in the world as a hurdler, that's a very. I was very honored, and all my friends at home, they were going completely crazy, and my family and everybody around me was so happy. And that was probably, yeah, that was my best race, and I have awesome memories on that race.
Yeah. So in 2015, Shapenkov was a champion, and obviously he won 2 European golds, the European indoors. So for you European guys, at the time from 2012 to 2015, was he the guy that you lot were trying to beat?
Yeah, for sure. There were a couple. Always, you know, there are always good hurdlers in Europe. There's always, yeah, Shubenkov is a very strong hurdler over many years. There are always Martino Lagarde and Dimitri Bascu,
That's
the
cool.
French guys, and there
Darian.
are many,
Yeah.
many great hurdlers. And also, like, I was challenging often the German friend, my hurdler Gregor Draber, but in general, I'm not looking too much on other hurdlers, what they're doing. I focus on myself, and I think even if I'm from Europe, I was always looking up to the American guys,
Like
like
Oliver.
Aris Merritt, Oliver, Jason Richardson, and
Yeah. David
they're
Clay.
always so amazing. I was like, oh man, they are so good now. Like at the moment, like Grant Holloway
Yeah.
and
Oh,
Devon
God.
Allen, they're like awesome hurdlers, and I'm looking up to them without fear or without um like being jealous or something like that. Jealous because they're my heroes, and it's fun for me to watch, and I'm looking forward to watch the Olympics. I think it will be in the morning actually when they're racing, so it was kind of weird, but at
Mm.
least I don't have to get up at night. So just a couple days ago I have to get up at night to watch the US trials, but that was fun too.
So at the 2016 Europeans in Amsterdam, was you thinking, wow, I've reached three European semi-finals. When am I gonna reach a final?
Yeah, always, you know, I always went to the Europeans. I was like, okay, something is possible, but it didn't. Actually in this year, yeah, I wasn't in my I was actually in a good shape before the international meeting starts, but then, yeah, some injury issues happens. I had problems with my hips, and then I wasn't running so good in Amsterdam, and I wasn't running so good at the Olympics in Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this season. The German champs were very good. I was winning, and I was making the Olympic team, but then I was just struggling with my body. And
Mm.
then you're just going into a race, you try everything, and afterwards you're like, all right, this was not my best race, but I also didn't feel good. And then you get in not such a good mood, but yeah, like I said in the beginning, I tried everything to stay healthy, and I got a lot of treatments, and I tried to push out, and then I was like, okay, even when I was not happy, I tried everything, and then I can deal with it.
Yeah. And on your going back to your training, your skipping for height thing, is that something which you do every day at training, or is it just when you're approaching your races sort of thing?
So there are definitely times where I do this like twice a week. It's something I often do in combination with sprinting. So I do some sprints, sometimes on the grass, sometimes on the track, and then afterwards to finish the training, I do some skip for distance, skip for height, because they are very good exercises for hip strength, and you know, working on my hip extension. That's always good in sprinting, and these exercises are also good when you like probably after competition, like you're running on a Saturday. Sunday you're completely tired and dead
Mm.
because it was tough, and then on a Monday you still feel a little sore in your body. That's our exercises who are very good for strength, and also good, you know, if you're not want to run very fast today and you feel tired, It's like a mix of a good training session and a little bit of a recovery session. So yeah, I do this exercise a lot. Not like every day, but there are times I do this definitely like twice a week. Yeah.
Mm. Even in Rio 2016, I think you had a tough heat. Yeah, Trakovic, Bargi, Ortega. What do
Yeah.
you think? You think the heat was tough?
Yeah, definitely. They're like three world-class athletes. It was
Mm.
tough. Um, but like I think you needed 1364 or 62 for the
Yeah.
semi-final. So that's definitely possible. Doesn't matter which is which guy is in my race, because the little cues they are often
Yeah.
very important, because you just need a good time. But like I said, yeah, I I knew, like, my coach saw me at the warm-up track, and I was like, okay, guy, what's going on? I was like,
Mm.
I feel terrible. My hip doesn't feel right. I cannot push out. And I was just, all right, just go out there and try to do what you can. And actually, I wasn't running too bad when I see how I felt. But yeah, it was just not possible that I was running like 50, 40, or 60,
Mm.
because my body didn't let me. But yeah, I tried everything, and it was like a nice experience in Rio to race there, and to see the nice beaches there, and to see the
Mm.
Jesus, this big statue there. And it was a cool experience, but not very good on the times I was running. Yeah.
So you see, with reaction times and pulling out, because the Cuban guy, poor Tiller, I think I was getting he had one of the best reaction times, but he came fifth. So do you think reaction times are important, or as we was just talking about with 60 meters, 110, you might have time to recover, sort of.
Yeah. Reaction times, yeah, they definitely play a role, but there are many races where the winner had a very bad reaction. But if you're on a good level, and you have like 0142 or 0162, that's good. But if you're like on 01 or 02 something, then you definitely slept a little bit. You shouldn't sleep, and you need a good reaction time. But it's not like, okay, you need an awesome reaction time to run a fast race. It's not that extremely important. Yeah, actually, my reaction time is always okay. I always had good reactions, and yeah, I'm happy with that. But I never like focused on the reaction. And also in training, I never asked my coach, okay, can you give me a start that I can work on my reaction. I never did this, like, yeah, a lot. Oh no, I was always good in reaction.
Hmm. And in London, the world champs, that was- you ran a 13:79. That was one of your slowest. So was it a bit disappointing coming back to London after the Olympics and just yeah.
Yeah. I like I said, I always give everything. I always try to push, and I'm somebody who I'm always go like on my limits, even in training. And but in professional sports, you always have to consider that your body, yeah, nobody is made for professional sports, because it's always way too tough. And you see that a lot in football. They're always injured, and in track and field too. And you just have to see the positive thoughts, that you try everything, that you I always had I still have good coach with Andreas. And we try everything, that I stay healthy. And sometimes it's not working, and sometimes I do technical mistakes, and sometimes, I don't know, I just had a bad day.
Mm,
And I learned over the years that you cannot you cannot be very negative, like, for a long time. Even if you have bad days and you're disappointed, you always have to look forward, and you have to stay positive. And even when you missed your big goal, just looking up your next goals, and try to work as hard as you can, that the next race will be better. So
Mm.
I think track and field gave me a lot of mental toughness, and that's always good, not only for the sport, it's always for life, because not everything in life is working well, and but you have to stay positive and you have to fight for your dreams. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's really like my sport teach me a lot of lessons about that. So
Mm.
actually I'm thankful about it, because in my opinion, like I was never like very good in when I was younger, so I never thought I would be on a professional stage. I didn't even know that I have talent until I was like 17, 18, when my new coach told me that, like, okay, you have a lot of potential. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Then I was really
Mm.
pushing. So yeah, I'm thankful even for the races I didn't do well, because that I learned a lesson, and it gave me a
Mm.
lot of mental strength.
Yeah. So what I was gonna ask, when you get knocked out in the heats and the semis, are you watching the rest of the competition, or are you just like, oh, fuck that, and just in the hotel, just
I go no, no. I watch it. I watch it for sure,
yeah,
because I'm not only like a hurdler, I'm also a big sports fan, and
yeah,
I'm very excited. Like, even like I watched with my friends in Zurich. I watched the finals, and I was like, okay, cool. And often, yeah, like when I was in Beijing, it was a very cool experience, because at this time, I was training with Aries Merritt, and I was on the stands with Andreas, with his coach, or my coach, our coach. And yeah, we saw Aries Merritt winning the bronze medal, and we were so happy, and it was very, very emotional. And afterwards, there was a 200 with my teammate at this time, with Anasto Jovacovana, and he was running pros in the 200 on the and it was like amazing, because when you train like with these guys, and you always help each other, you race against, and even in training, so every training is always a little
mm,
competition.
mhm,
And you're happy with your teammates, and that's very emotional. So I like watching races afterwards, for sure. I also watched the in Berlin. I watched the world record race of Usain Bolt,
mm,
100 in the stadium. It was like
nice.
amazing. I couldn't believe when I saw that time. So it was cool. Yeah, no, I always watch,
Mm,
especially like I said in the beginning, I'm a big fan of 100, 200
mhm,
and hurdles.
yeah. So with guys like Bascu, Bargi, Shabenkov, Martin Odegaard, who was the toughest? Who was the toughest you raced against? Would you say?
A very, very good question. So sure, I was running one time, actually no, a couple times, but I was running 2009. No, was it? No, 2012, I think, at Istaf in Berlin. I was running with Aries Merritt, and he was running 12:09. So that was
Mhm,
the fastest time ever I've been in a race. The toughest, probably the one who are like extremely good starters. Yeah, Bascu was very tough, because he had such a phenomenal start at this time, and I'm like a little slower starter, so I was
mhm,
always okay. He's very far, but also, like I said, Robles was tough too, because he was
mm,
such a good starter, and then you feel like, okay, I'm far away even on the first hurdle, and you often get a little bit yeah, you get a little bit tight, and you try too hard to get to come closer. But I wouldn't say there's like one guy. Oh shit!
mm,
I will run against with this guy, so I'm a little scared. That never happens. So they're always like, when you're running international, there's always a field of 8 awesome athletes, and like every race is very tough. And the most important thing is just to focus just on your lane,
mm.
and what you want to do. It doesn't matter which guy are running with you, if you're on regional games, or if you're on international races, or if you're at the Olympics. Just focus on your
Mm.
lane, and do what you can.
So at what point was it at London 2017? Was it when you got like eliminated? Is that when you were saying to yourself that this is gonna be my last one? Or when did you make that choice of your last championships?
Oh, you mean when I stopped running?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, like, yeah, in 2000, in 2018 I stopped. Then 2020, actually, I was racing again. Um, I was preparing the European Championships in Berlin, but yeah, I had injury problems starting in probably in March, and then I
Mm.
was running very very slow, and like my whole body was inflamed, and I tried over like 3 months to get ready and to do some, like easy training, recovery training, had some treatments, and like nothing was working. I was
Mm.
feeling so bad, and I tried to run in Germany in Weinheim, and I was running like 14:3 or something, like very very bad, and I didn't feel like an athlete. It was just painful, and like a very
Mm.
bad pain. And yeah, this time I was like 32, I think. Yeah, 32. And yeah, I felt like, okay, I don't want to do this my event anymore, because I feel like I'm done with it. I don't want to race. I'm not feeling like I can race anymore very fast. And then it's just like it's don't feel like sports. It's just, okay, I try to do it, but it's not working. And then I decided, all right, that's it. I don't want to compete. I don't feel like I can compete on the international stage. And I was even happy, because I had so many cool international races. I met so many cool people, like Aries and my coach, and like all these athletes around the world. And I was happy. I was like, okay, this was my career. I'm done now. And then I start working as a IT guy. But I'm not sure. After like 7 months, I felt, actually, surprisingly, I felt good again. Like my body just needed a rest. And
Mm.
as as an athlete, I was jogging in the forest. No, I was actually sprinting in the forest, because I'm not the guy who's jogging. I
Mm.
always need to do something fast. And then and then I felt like my body is feeling great, so I feel like I need to come back. But it was a risk, because when you're not training like over a year and try to come back, your body is not responding very well very often. But everything was working, and now I'm
Yeah.
back on stage, and I won the German championships last year. This season was a little bit tougher, but I was running 13:8, and I think next year I will run faster again. So I'm happy that I made the decision to come back.
Yeah. And your with the comeback, is it more of like more of your love for track and field, or are you back to try and compete sort of?
Yeah, it's pure passion. Like
Yeah.
it was like the fire in me was burning so much. I was like, okay, it was, I don't know. I remember that feeling. I was laying in bed, and I felt like there's something in me. I need to come back. I'm still fast. I feel like my body is still ready to run fast, and I was right. Actually, I never had this kind of feelings before. Um, but yeah, then I like the most important conversation was with my coach. I was like, okay, coach, I feel like I need to come back. What do you think? Do you think I'm able to run fast again? And he was like, he knows me over many
Yeah.
many years, and he said, yeah, you are. If you stay healthy, I
Yeah.
believe that you can still run in good times. And I was like, okay, if my coach is telling me that, I trust him. He knows what he's talking about. He's the coach of Aries Merit, the world
Hmm.
record holder, so he knows everything about the sport. And yeah, then I just trained very hard. And in the beginning, it was very tough, because yeah, I was out of shape. I also needed to lose like 4 kilo. I was gaining weight during this time. I didn't train much, so it was tough, but it was also a big challenge for my body, and mentally a challenge. But it was cool. It was a nice experience. Now I'm happy that I'm still
Mm.
racing again, and competing, and have a lot of fun in my life.
Hmm. And with guys like Ortega, Grant Holloway, Martin Odegaard, even Shane Braithwaite, who would your money be on for the Olympics to take home the gold?
Grant Holloway for sure. He is
Yeah.
the absolute favorite, especially with the semifinals running 12:81. like I couldn't believe. I thought
Powerful, so powerful.
I thought he's able to run like maybe 12:09 or like 88 maybe. That's I thought he can run about around this time, because it's like 12 running 12:80 or 81 is like completely crazy, but he showed that he is able to run the world record for sure, and he's young, he can still develop. And but I thought it takes maybe like another year to really go down to like 12:90, 85, something like that. But he showed that he's ready for the world record. But it's still very, very tough. Like this times are amazing, and he's the favorite. But he will get chased by Owen McLeod. Owen McLeod is an awesome athlete, and he can run under 13 seconds too in the final. And
Defending
it's
champ as
possible.
well.
It's possible that you need to run under 13 seconds to win gold in Tokyo. So yeah, it will be very interesting. But my favorite is definitely Grant Holloway. He
Yeah,
has the best chance to win gold for sure.
yeah,
But it's hurdling. It's also possible that like the two top guys made a mistake, and somebody else is winning. So you never know. It's
yeah.
hurdling. It's so tough, and you have to take a risk on every race. You have to go very fast and very powerful. And if you do a little mistake, even the best guys can be beat. So yeah, I hope for a good race, and I hope for a fast race, and I will be extremely excited when I watch this. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, me too. And Matthias, thanks for coming online and talking to me, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Thanks
man.
for inviting.
Yeah, man. We'll keep in contact, man.
Yeah, cool.
Definitely. Thank
All
you,
right.
brother. You take care.